meeting for Wednesday, May 10th to order. And the first item we have is a review of the minutes for the meeting of March 29th. Commissioner Cosgrove, had a chance to review that?
I did. I will actually move approval of A and B, minutes from the March 29th and April 12th meeting.
Okay, both of them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
No.
Okay.
Absent one, for the record.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll sign these. So Adam, you're back with us full time now? Or
There's still a transition period for our new code compliance manager to get ramped up and to transition with Jonathan back into planning. But yeah, over the next month or so, I will be transitioning back into full-time city plannership. Scott is calling me right now. If you guys want to start on this item,
is anybody here from
find out where he...
the client side?
I will be representing
Okay.
Coast Junior, yeah, and National Sign.
Yeah. Jonah. He's Jonah. Yeah.
Jonah?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Jonah. Okay, David, you have a
Report.
presentation for us?
Yeah, so I think we all know that this is at the south end of town. So this is as a reminder, a minor architectural permit that the applicant is requesting for a facade remodel, which I'll go more into detail into what that entails, and a few drive-through modifications. They are the only tenant on site with their own parking lot. Again, they're at 3929 South El Camino Real. Zoning is mixed use 5 within the Affordable Housing Overlay District. And this is also within the focus area known as Surf Zone within our general plan documents, and it's also within a gateway. So here's a map. To the left shows a big picture showing the city's border line on the south end, on the right end, and then on the right edge of the screen we have a close-up of the property. So I just wanted to here highlight some of the policies that we have regarding gateways and for this area known as the surf zone. So in gateways, we ask for pleasing entry points into San Clemente with quality architecture. In most gateways, the required architecture is Spanish colonial revival, except for 2 areas that are called out in our policy documents. That would be Los Molinos and this area, the surf zone. This is known as or envisioned as a visitor and local serving corridor with eclectic architecture. So this is a photo of the existing condition of Carl's Jr. So the proposal includes a new corrugated metal parapet wall that runs along the entire top of the building. We see one portion of the parapet wall will be increased here to further identify the entrance. This is the one that faces South El Camino Real. We also have a new color palette that includes light and dark grays, black and red. And I'll point out here too that there's a new LED trim band that is running along the edge of the parapet wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the way.
Do you want to clarify that?
Yes, just like clarification, the trim band will run above the window and door base underneath the roof line.
So not above the parapet wall.
Not above the parapet wall. That would be part of the corrugated metal MECM, which is parapet cap. which that is also illuminated, but the trim band specifically is right underneath the roof line.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
it's
it's
running right
recessed
here.
and up and tucked under,
Correct, butted up against the wall.
so that it's not visible. It's recessed.
It's recessed. It's slightly visible, but as far as the lighting underneath, the lighting will not be visible unless you're on the wall itself looking up.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you, Jonah.
Of course, thank you.
That's great.
The drive-through modifications includes 3. Right here we're showing 2. So there's a new clearance arm that would be replacing an existing one. And we have a new order point canopy. And as a reminder, we're not reviewing signage today, but they will be required to remove that logo because it does count towards their signage, unless they want to submit for a discretionary sign permit.
Is that, can you go back?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a 9. Sorry, I thought that was a 6. Yeah.
Another element is a mesh grid, and Jonah, you can confirm this is for advertising, right? This is on the elevation that faces the drive-through on Santa Margarita.
Mesh grid on what surface?
On the, it looks like there's some siding here.
Is that like a trash enclosure, or you're talking on the building?
On the building.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the building. So as you're driving through, to the pickup window, you will see the advertisement signs to your left.
And that's facing away from El Camino Real.
Yeah.
That's like specials of the month, that type of thing.
Correct. Yes.
We also have new menu boards, and staff is asking for specific feedback on these. We don't have specific regulations on menu boards, but we do have some regulations on signs that talk about prohibiting animated signs, any type of blinking or flashing. So this would be providing staff direction on drafting a condition of approval that would help control that. And Adam, maybe you can speak to that too. So we would like some feedback on how to address these new menu boards when it comes to the constant change of screens. And Jonah, if you have more information later, you can give on that, or now if you want to.
Definitely. So as far as blinking or flashing, I know it's defined as it has to be defined as far as certain seconds, a certain amount of seconds. The menu boards will have their design, the product for the week, for the month, but they won't be necessarily animating. There won't be switching from screen to screen unless there's a new product that comes out. They'll go ahead and quickly change the image, but it won't be necessarily any animation or blinking or flashing of that kind. Just for quick clarification.
Yeah, it's static.
No, it's not static. It would be digital.
I understand.
But the image,
The image is static, and then you can just remotely update it,
Correct.
and then it stays static until you change it again.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, versus a physical board that's painted or whatever.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's just digital,
Yes.
but it's not gonna incorporate moving elements or items that are in motion.
Correct.
And changing in light emissions.
Exactly. Correct. Yes.
So that right there is the condition, right? We just stipulate that it doesn't do those things.
Let's see. We have one. So I'll reiterate the goals here. So in this area are to have pleasing entry points into Subcommittee and also support eclectic architecture. So some recommendations that staff has made, we have them on the screen, is to remove the S-tile roof. We know that this may be costly, but it is something that we think is worth pointing out just to contribute to that eclectic character and have something that's more compatible with the design of the building. So Jonah, that'll be a good conversation with the owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Remove or reduce the amount of LED trim band around the building to prevent light glare and reflection impacts consistent with the city's lighting ordinance. and then removal of the mesh grid that's proposed for advertisement signs to reduce sign clutter. And again, any additional signage from what's already out there would require a DSP, discretionary sign permit. And that is staff's presentation, and we have Jonah available as well.
Can you keep your recommendations up there?
Yeah.
And then we could maybe build a map as you're talking.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'd like for you, if you don't mind, that
Yes.
after your brief, just talk
Touch up on these.
your opinion about those.
Yes, definitely. So we've actually brought this to the customer's attention.
Oh, wrong question.
Yes,
Is this corporate owned or
This-
franchise owned?
this is a small franchise owner.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then it goes to my first point, or to the first point, as far as replacing the existing S-tile roof. The customer would love to make this a possibility. He does want to lean towards this direction, but because of the amount of money that it would cost to replace the S-tile roof with, let's say, a standing seam roof, that's just out of his budget. Carl's Jr. Corporate is incentivizing the customers to remodel based on their the remodel program that's currently going on over 200 locations in the IE area, San Diego area. So they are being incentivized, but not to the extent to where this smaller franchisee will be able to afford to replace their standing seam roof. So to him, he would love to do it, but it's somewhat out of the question because of the amount of money it'll cost. So that's kind of where it is with the S-tile roof. Any comments on that?
Well, I'd like to back up. Why are we looking at this? This is it's considered a minor exception.
Minor architectural
Permit.
permit. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a non-residential, a change to non-residential property.
Okay, so it seems to be about signage mostly, right? Updating the signage. I mean, there's no real architectural improvements to the building. It's a different color scheme. The signs have been updated, and the parapet is actually changing materials, but it's also being raised.
Slightly, yes.
Well, slightly, whatever, it's being raised.
Correct.
How much is it being raised above the existing
The
parapet?
above the existing parapet, I believe it's no more than 18 inches.
Okay,
So I believe the standard parapet height is about 48 inches. I believe the ACM tower is no more than 6 feet high. So it would be, I guess, to back up, it'd be no more than 24 inches. It's being raised for the ACM tower portion, which is that the black. Yeah.
okay. So that parapet, as it currently exists,
Yes.
that's not a waterproof element, it's just a screen for the mechanical equipment, right?
Correct. Yes. As far as the items that we are proposing to add, or the existing parapet.
The existing, it's just a mechanical screen, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
But it is waterproof.
it is,
It is. Yes.
okay. So, and you're proposing a corrugated metal
Correct.
to replace the plaster.
Not
Right
nec-
now, it's a plaster.
Yes, not necessarily to replace, but it would go on top of it. So we wouldn't necessarily alter the existing. We would just add it on top.
Smooth, bolted on,
Correct.
Okay.
and paint it.
Well, it's great, except for that one ACM.
Okay.
Correct.
Great. paint it.
Correct.
Great.
But it has a cap that's plastic.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So the cap is gonna sit over the top of that corrugated metal
Correct.
to keep the water. Okay. So
Yes.
the roof's basically gonna drain the way it is. So the reason it's a minor is because there's no no footprint increase,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing structural. But the roof is changing, right?
Correct.
Because there's a piece that's being added
Mhm.
at a different height.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mechanical screen to begin with. So that's an architectural feature that's being added to the building, whether it affects the footprint or not. I contend that, and we're here, this is not a approval board, you know.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
We're-
Yes. Correct.
We're here to talk about the design.
Yes.
make recommendations, but, you know, this is when you get off at Christianitos and you go down Oak Community Road, this is the first building that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's been there for a long time. And so it seems to me that what you're proposing is basically painting the existing materials, exterior materials, with different colors,
Correct.
including an accent of this red color,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
The rest of it's pretty neutral. It's all grays,
Yes.
or different tones of gray, it looks like. So, you know, the building, you know, what's the style of the building? Well, okay, it's eclectic. I guess you could say that. But, yeah, it's been there. I mean, I was going to Pro Junior when I was a kid, right? And we'd serve, you know, trestles and we'd stop on the way, and I didn't really notice it much, you know, when I was a kid. But, you know, it's an important building, and I understand you're in a tough spot because it's a tenant that's gonna, well, like, the owner's gonna pay for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Corporate is looking to get the new logo and the new signage on as many locations as possible.
Correct.
And we represent, you know, the city of San Clemente, and we're saying, you know, here's an opportunity to improve this building, which is in a critical location.
Yes.
Because a lot of people come from San Diego going north, and they exit Christianitos.
Yes.
And this is literally a gateway
Yeah.
location. Is it the same as El Camino Real? No. But still, it's a surfer heaven right
Yeah.
there, right? So a ton of cars coming there. I mean, I would like to see an attempt at improving the architecture. I think, even though I'm not a fan of the building the way it is now,
Yes.
this diminishes the architecture, in my opinion.
Okay.
And the reason is because of the painted colors on a material that's, I assume it's concrete block, or is it some sort of
It's like
brick
brick.
veneer?
Right.
Brick veneer. Well, there's painted,
Yeah, like some.
painted,
It's like brick.
yeah, it's more. It's like a split face block, and it's painted. And these red colors are there now.
The red balances and the red core.
So what's that material?
That is a type of vinyl fabric material. So flexible, but it does repel water.
So is the new red, oh, that's just correction. Is the new red the same color?
No, it's on the darker end. It's not as vibrant as the balances that those balances have, or as bright as the red logo. No, it's on the darker color.
Okay. So this, you know, the existing building is kind of nondescript, you know, it's not bad, but it's not good, right? You have the tile roof, which is actually patinaed a little bit over time. So it's not bad, but I don't think the corrugated metal, for instance, is compatible with the tile roof, if you're gonna leave the tile roof.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why you guys proposed changing the roof. You can kind of disguise the split face block by painting it. And I don't know about you, Cameron, but I don't really have a problem with the grays. I think those are okay. You're looking at like a wainscot of dark gray, and then it transitions to this red color on part of the elevation, which is still the same wainscot. I assume it does that like in a corner somewhere, so it's not on a flush surface. But, I mean, the building is becoming, with what you're proposing, I think it's becoming sort of eclectic by itself, as opposed to, I think that the sort of goal is to have eclectic architecture, but within a certain building, you've got eclectic styles. You know, you have this industrial sort of corrugated metal, which I think on the detail it showed the ribs being vertical. But maybe they are, so the ribs are horizontal.
Correct.
So I can't.
On the corrugated.
And then you have trim, which is a dark, dark color. Looks like all the trim, definitely the cap. But what I'm seeing, and maybe you don't agree with me, I don't know, but what I'm seeing is it's just like taking the same building, painting it some different colors, just to update the signage logo. And make that more prominent, I guess, by raising it up
Yes.
so that it seems to be more proportional. Because that Carl's Jr. sign, that's squeezed into that
Yes.
small space.
Yes.
So I would almost say, carry that all the way around, that raised ACM. If you're going to raise it,
Okay.
it doesn't really look good where it doesn't seem to be
It's
well
kind of
thought
choppy.
out.
It's kind of choppy.
Well, where it's shown, if you look at it in plan view, can you point out, Jonah, where the
Yes, it
On
would
the
be
roof plan.
on the El Camino Real side of the road, right on the front entrance, the bottom left. Yeah, right there.
so it's just the face of that mechanical
Correct.
screen on.
Correct. And
So, wait, is it just this black right here?
Yeah.
correct.
So you're
Okay,
going to
so,
see the edge of that thing.
so it doesn't, okay, so the roof line kind of jogs in.
Yes.
So how are you gonna transition that? Is it just gonna be like he said, just
Well,
gonna
you're
be,
going to see the side.
you're gonna see an edge?
Yes,
Yeah.
you will be. But it will be the same material as the front, so it won't necessarily be any structural kind of that you'll be seeing. It'll be somewhat seamless to where that same material goes around the entire tower.
And the reason why you're doing is, as he said, just to give the logo space?
To give the logo, to make the logo the focal point. So if it were to be done, let's say all around, then it kind of the logo would kind of almost get lost because the entire parapet is the same height. So changing the height will kind of bring the focal point to the logo. Not only that, but doing the ACM material around the entire parapet is also extremely more costly to the customer, which is why they want to minimize the amount of ACM towers or ACM sections that we add. It's a costly product. It's great. It's high quality, but it makes it costly for the customer.
It's a flat metal.
I'm sorry.
It's a flat metal panel
Yeah,
that's also got some insulation, so it's
correct. Aluminum composite.
And is the sign gonna be illuminated?
It is being proposed as face and halo illuminated. I'm sorry, face only.
So a spotlight
Yeah,
on it?
there's a little cornice, right?
Yes, there is for the parapet cap. There is LEDs in the parapet cap that will shine onto the logo, give it somewhat of a glow. But the sign itself is only internally illuminated. There's no halo behind it.
So it's a can?
Correct.
It's a canister?
Correct.
Well, you do have the cornice though, right?
Yes, and the corners or the top cap of the corrugated metal and the ACM tower does incorporate LEDs, so there will be somewhat of a glow that shines down from the parapet.
So it's a LED, it's a recessed LED.
Okay.
That's that cornice piece. And then the edge, I assume, will have a flat panel that at least covers the side of the cornice.
Correct.
Is the LED look white?
They are white, yes.
And are all the logo signs cans?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Including where it says Carl's Jr., the words?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so they'll be self-illuminated plus external illumination.
Well, it's a reverse can. It's not a can per se, right? You said it's
They're
a
channel
halo.
letters. They are channel letters, yes.
So it's a halo.
But there is no halo behind it.
Oh, there's not.
No, no halo.
So,
So there's an acrylic front, and there's illumination inside.
Correct.
That comes through the front.
Correct.
okay, so just to be clear, the star is a can.
The star is a can, yes.
Okay, And then these are channel letters that are raised out,
No, they will be butted up against
Flush
the issue.
against
Correct,
the-
flushed.
and then you're expecting that to illuminate through this LED under the cap?
So there's LEDs included in the channel letters and in the star itself that are within the channel letters, and how Adam said that there's acrylic faces that that will illuminate the letters themselves. However, there is also LEDs on the cap itself that will bring a slight illumination to the sign or to the edge of the parapet to bring more focus onto the building.
And that lighting is provided on this
I
page,
think that's the one you have.
Yeah, you
right?
can-
So this box with the LED sticking out underneath it, this is a foot from the face of the parapet.
I believe up to 8 inches.
It says 8 inches.
It might be
No,
an
you're right.
entire foot, including the
So-
parapet.
Right, including the parapet, but outside of the parapet, you're right. It's 8 inches out,
Yes.
and it's like an L shape with
Correct.
the
It's a
lighting
cornice.
underneath it. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm wondering why you need to have that light in addition to the lighted letters. I mean, it's gonna be lit up. That's gonna actually diminish the quality of light from the letters.
From the letters? Yes and no. It can be seen that way, but with the corrugated metal and the ACM itself is a dark background. When there is no halo illumination, you can't really. It's almost completely gets rid of the halo with a dark background. So the reason for the LEDs onto the side is to give more pop to not only the sign but to the corrugated metal, showing the architectural features at night.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen is, because it's black, it's gonna rob the light, the ability of the light to wash the face of that wall. So you're just gonna see a light, basically a light line at the top. And then the letters will be lit. So it's counterintuitive, right? I mean, you wanna do that if you had a light colored surface that you could wash with light. But the dark color, it robs the light from the rest of the surface of that extension, the carpet extension. So, and I'm assuming this is a corporate
Standard.
yes, with the
Building,
colors.
yes.
Somebody on the East Coast.
The corrugated metal, the ACM, yeah, that's part of Carl's Jr.'s new standard that
Is the lighting part of that standard, or is that a choice you guys are making?
the lighting is part of it. They want to bring as much illumination to the building as the city would allow.
Yeah, with the black robs that.
All right. So,
Okay, so-
just, and I apologize. I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
for the record, everything's here. So there's two, we'll call them a band of LED lights.
Yes.
One is under the cap on the parapet, and one is under the eave of the building.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have nighttime simulated photos?
I don't believe I have nighttime simulated.
I can tell you that's going to be critical.
Critical.
for further review here.
Definitely. That is something we can definitely include. I don't have that included in
Let's
this
go to the
current
CA
drawing.
after us. Where's it going?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it does. I do have a question though
Yes.
on the, and I apologize, Steve. I will
No, go ahead.
open the floor back up to you in just a second. The menu board is just a replacement. Is there any trigger for a conditional use permit as far as what they're doing?
This is a replacement of the existing
Of the
menu boards.
existing menu board, correct.
Is it changing location? Is there anything new about the speaker box?
So it's not changing location. I believe in this case, we're removing the existing menu board, leaving the footing in place, and maybe shifting it about 12 to 18 inches to avoid demoing the footing and to cut back cost for the customer. So it might change a foot or two, right or left. But then as far as the speaker post, it will go from an OCD, an order confirmation board, to the OPC, which is the order point canopy. So it does go from a possibly 4-foot thin speaker post to then the long order point canopy with the somewhat canopy on top that will shield from sun, rain, and all that. So the speaker post is somewhat changing drastically or being updated. Kind of significantly.
So that's where we see that sort of skewed view of the star is on that canopy?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So it will be in the drive-through side away from both streets and will only be visible to, let's say, the truck stop, if at all.
Looks like you're staying in the same. These are the many boards.
Yes, correct. And now that I'm being reminded of this drive-through, they'll be staying right there in the exact same spot. Like I said, just 12 to 18 inches left or right, depending on electrical conduits, irrigation, just depending on what's allowed.
Okay. David and I will look into the replacement of the menu board and whether that triggers a need to amend the previous approvals for the menu board installation. The general plan, I'll just note on behalf of city staff that the menu boards do require conditional use permits, so this may come back to the planning commission if that is necessary. And since it is discretionary, the general plan policies do apply. And while Carl's Jr.'s desires may be to increase the amount of illumination on the buildings, the city's general plan does have a bit to say about dark skies and the desire to reduce that much illumination. So David and I will look into those details. And my apologies,
That's fine.
Mr. Camp.
No problem. I was good to get that clarified.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Did you have something else?
I was just going to include if we did bring up the illumination aspect to the customer, and if it would help, we can definitely eliminate some of that. To obviously please city code, please the city. The option would be maybe removing some from the rear where not too many people will be. Maybe there's concern over the ACM tower. Maybe we can just eliminate the illumination there and keep it along the corrugated metal. It's a lighter color metal, so that it'll be more visible. Whereas the ACM it'll be a little diminished. So we
So
can
the light cap goes around that whole mechanical screen?
The whole, yes, the parapet cap, the corrugated metal, pretty much around the entire top roof line is where we're proposing it.
So you can
That's
have
a
double.
significant increase in light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
too.
wondering if we might even need a photometric study on lighting. And I say that because while we all have an idea of what recessed LED illumination looks like, if it's going to be reflecting off corrugated metal, and it's natural corrugated metal, are you painting it?
It does, I believe, get painted.
Great.
F2.
Yeah, it does get painted with it's like a slate color, NBCI Masterline 16 slate. So, I believe those are the caps. No, I believe this is a raw color. I'd have to confirm on that.
My assumption is there'd be some type of protective coat to keep it from rusting.
Correct.
Okay. And we do have examples in the surf zone of, I'll say, rusted corrugated metal. That's the design aesthetic.
Yeah.
We call it patina.
It's
Sounds better.
you say patina, I say potato. We do have some examples of that, but whatever the plans look like is what you'd be required to maintain. So just confirm that detail.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't see it on the plans where it calls out the paint color for the corrugated metal. It does call out that slate color, but that's just for the trim.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Because it looks like you have the trim at the bottom and on the corners, which doesn't actually show up on your elevation. See, it doesn't show it shows like a white.
And I noticed that your prints show it almost black, but it's more of a lighter gray color.
Oh, this slate, you mean?
Yeah, the slate.
Okay. Well, but then you also, the detail shows the corners having the trim,
Yes.
but especially on this page, I don't see the page on. Oh, 19.
Yes.
But then your elevation doesn't show that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It shows it white, but yeah, that's just the discrepancy on our drawings. So I will have that updated to reflect the correct color.
So it almost reads like on the elevations here on page 16, it almost reads as the same color, the cap that runs all the way along the top, as that ACM portion.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see that.
But they're different.
But
You're
they're
saying
different, yeah.
That's like the slate color on the trim cap that goes all the way around.
So the trim cap is a caviar color, which reflects more black. And then as far as that slate color for the caps that go on the corrugated metal
Trim.
corners, the trim, that is more of a lighter gray color.
Okay.
The finished
Is it
product.
meant to match?
It's not meant to match, no.
It's not meant to match the corrugated metal.
Oh, I'm sorry. The corrugated metal, yes. I thought you meant match the parapet cap, which is black.
Yeah, no, it's meant to match the corrugated metal.
Correct, yes.
So it reads as one continuous material.
Correct.
Yeah, because your elevations don't look like that.
Yeah, no, they don't. That is a discrepancy on our drawings.
Okay. We're trying to help here. We're trying to work.
Yeah,
on it. So
of course.
the other thing that's bothering about it is the color. You've got these different tones of gray,
Yes.
and then you have this red accent, and they don't seem to really relate. I know it's basically a square building, but you do have, the one pop. You have the pop out there for the. I guess it's in the front.
That's the back.
Right. But then on the side, you got that extent. So that's just a
The
roof over
drive-through,
it.
yeah, over the drive-through lane.
But the building itself has some ins and outs, or is it all just a square building?
For the most part, it's all a square building except for the front. There is a slight indent in the middle. I believe it's a 2 or 3 foot recess.
Okay, stay on that one right there. So this condition here, that does not appear to be flush. Seems like it pops out here, but,
Yeah, it just said 2 feet.
okay, 2 feet. So that's where the red,
Will be
so the gray turns the corner, and then the red starts here?
correct, and it'll run along the right side of the building.
And then where does it terminate on the other side?
It'll terminate at the end. So the end, it goes back to gray. The very
So
gray
at
of
the corner, you mean?
Correct. Yes, at the corner.
Okay, so you got a corner that's gonna have red wainscot and then gray wainscot.
Correct.
Okay.
Shades of gray too, right? It's not all one.
Can you get
Correct.
the exact
The
other
wainscot
corner?
is peppercorn, a darker gray, and then the rest of the building would be, I believe, essential gray, which is a lighter
Okay,
gray.
you got-
Nope.
Well, plus you got
One more back.
the
Up that
red
street.
on one side of the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Over here?
Starts
Yeah.
in with gray
Yeah.
on the other side. That's terrible.
One more. Okay.
That would
All right, so-
definitely be
Yeah,
changed
I would-
opposed to all the same peppercorn color.
Yeah, I would just go with the gray all the way
Is this the
along.
corner?
All the way around.
Is that the corner where the red is going to meet the gray?
It would be the other corner. It's a corner in the parking lot. This rear end and then the drive-through side is the wainscoting is all going to remain peppercorn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the other corner. This just directly back here that will be red along that side, and then start red on the front of the entrance. But going to your point, you definitely the red can be eliminated from the wainscoting, changed to all peppercorn, so it's one consistent color all around.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
wouldn't be an issue.
if you want to put the wainscot, you know. I don't know what you need, but if you want
Yeah.
to.
Is that a recommendation that you guys are making?
Yeah, do you agree?
I agree with you, whatever, I mean, you're the expert.
Yeah, because one side of the door has the red wainscot, and then it's a flush condition, and the other side has the gray.
Mhm.
That's not a good detail, architectural.
Yeah.
I don't even know, it's such a flat building, and it's so low hung, that even having the wainscot makes it look even more flat, you know?
Mhm.
Anything that's gonna draw attention away from if you're not gonna do the roof, away from that. Like if
Yeah.
you have the red here and up there, it's like a tie-in. So you're just trying to highlight the roof now.
Yeah.
You need to downplay the roof unless you want to replace the roof. If you want to not replace the roof, you should downplay the roof.
Yeah.
And not highlight it on the building.
Yeah.
I think that's part
Yeah,
of what
you
you're trying to
see,
say.
yeah, and you see the roof, even when you're just coming up at street level.
Yes.
And that fascia at the bottom of the roof line,
That red.
is that gonna remain that red?
No.
It's gonna go
Looks
to
like it's
gray.
going to be the gray,
Correct.
essential
Okay.
gray or gray shingle or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah, I would even maybe suggest getting rid of the wainscot accent.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Altogether.
building doesn't look so flat. I mean, it really, that makes it look even more flat, in my opinion.
Well, I think it just draws attention to the roof.
Yeah. And I think the corrugated metal is probably okay. I assume that's a clear galvanized finish.
Yes. Yes.
Which does patina over time. And it looks okay. It's not, at least the clear galvanized is not as reflective, you know. It might look better as a weathered galvanized, because actually the clear galvanized does reflect the light quite a bit. So I think you've seen the weathered galvy look, actually would look really good on that roof, but I understand you have some
Whether
budget constraint.
Okay, I will take a look.
Weathered as opposed to clear
Clear.
galvanized. And, you know, if you want to use the red, I assume Carl's Jr. Corporate wants to use this red accent
They would.
where they can.
Where they can, yes. If absolutely not required, the franchisee can definitely try and get a variance from CKE as far as to not add it. Would it be an issue if, like, for example, we kept it on the drive-through side, right where we're proposing the mesh grid, that small accent?
Oh, on the either side of the window?
Correct.
But that's the new mesh. That's the new mesh material, right?
The mesh grid itself is that metal type of frame with the two white
the
white
part in the middle.
inserts. That's
Okay.
the mesh grid.
I got you.
That's going to have the, ad in it.
But then
Or
the,
highlighted it.
And that's like a bolt-on
Correct.
metal piece that just goes over the existing
Correct.
wall.
Yes, correct.
That is faced at the drive-through. I'm a little
yeah, which is
confused.
on the back.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because I think that where the menu board is on the very back, facing the truck stop, not El Camino.
Yes.
And that's where you want to put the grid ad.
The grid is here, right here.
Yes,
Your-
that wall right there.
No.
So that faces,
Santa Margarita.
north.
Oh, the little
Yeah.
side street.
Yeah.
Now, why do you want to put it there?
So
They've
the-
already ordered by that time.
yes,
Kind of pointless, right?
in a way,
Promotion.
it
But they've already
depends.
ordered.
It
So-
depends.
Something to look forward to next time.
Next,
Or they may
exactly
go-
that.
They
Exactly
may
that.
do the loop and order
Or they
that.
may do the loop or add it while they're paying.
Why wouldn't you just put it by the message board to entice them to order it?
And which is a good point, but I mean, in this cases, like when, for example, I guess I'm going to go to a personal experience myself. When I gone to Carl's Jr., I've ordered. It's not until I'm in the drive-thru, I already know what I want, I buy that. And then I see the message board while I'm about to pay, and I see, hey, this is offered, I know to come back for that next time. You know, whereas the menu board itself will have all of the product, so that in a way is almost showing.
I get that, I think that's true, but I don't, in my personal life, I'm gonna forget that about 2 days later. I'm not coming back. I'm not gonna go, let me write a note and put it on my phone and come back to Carl's to get that frosty shit.
Yeah.
With the pumpkin spice, right?
But where else would you put it?
Because in the rear of the building, there's not
In the
much.
rear- So here's the thing where I'm
location.
coming from. Staff is saying, deny that. And I see why. It's kind of visual clutter.
Yes.
So how about a compromise where it gets shifted to the back, where they're ordering it, and they can see the pumpkin spice of the month, and go, you know what, I was gonna come in and just get the chocolate I always get,
Yeah.
but this time I'm gonna try, because that picture's enticing.
Yeah. I
Is
see
there
what you're
room
saying.
there?
And actually cash in then, not
Yeah.
later.
Is there room there?
Agreed. I would
It looks like maybe the rear of the building, the left side of
For
the
additional
building on the
signage.
right side of the window might be a possibility. The right side and the trash
That'd be
enclosure,
signage,
it doesn't look like we'll have any room
But
for it.
P.
So
We would
we
be
can
able
run
to
that.
rotate us to the back. Can you rotate the drawing to the back?
No.
Are they?
If you don't like it, I mean, if it's not, it doesn't make sense, then,
Is this good?
no, to where they're doing the order window, where the order menu
I don't
is.
think Google Maps can.
No, he had it. It's
Oh,
where-
yeah? Oh, okay.
He had it. Right there.
Yeah, you got the upgrade. There's really no place to put it. Because it'd be underneath, right? Unless it was a freestanding element.
What's right here?
Yeah, that's way back underneath.
That's
Yeah, it'll be shielded, and then the menu board and the
Are
OPC
they-
where they're ordering is
are
going
they
to
at
be
their
there, so
maximum amount of
it'll
signage
almost
right
get
now?
lost. Your
So, yeah,
perspective,
additional.
your focus is on where
I
you're
guess you could put a
ordering.
standalone sign there if you really want them in the back.
Yeah. Now, one thing
That'd
to
probably be CUP.
now one thing to consider on this is staff is recommending the removal of that particular sign. One of the issues with it is that any additional signage on this property requires a discretionary sign permit,
Got it.
which would increase this
Sign
item
permit.
from a zoning administrator hearing to a planning commission hearing.
Okay.
There's always a little bit additional time, and the staff reports are a little bit beefier for planning commission. So that's one thing. But if
Yeah.
if you want any additional signage, you might as well ask for, whatever you're looking for, and then have the planning commission.
And that is a good point to
Deliberate.
bring up. And in this case, because of the, I guess, additional permit and reviews, this I think will be most likely opted out. So this won't be an issue. We could go ahead and remove this to avoid, it being delayed, it being longer. So this can definitely be something we remove from the scope of work completely. The customer wouldn't see this as an issue. If we can try, we wanted to try, but
So you're talking about that mesh?
that mesh
sheet
grade,
all
yeah,
that?
we can completely
out.
remove it. Yes, it won't be an issue.
I don't, you think it's wrong? Well, that-
Well, they're saying it's an issue because it's new signage, so.
Oh,
It would require a permit
Changes
that
to
would
make
make
sure
this a
that
planning
we're
commission item.
oh, okay.
Rather than, while we're on this one side here, one thing I do want to note for the design review's consideration. So right now, I'm assuming this window's never used because they've gotten rid of the pay at one window, pick up at another, right?
Correct.
The plans show this as just. It shows it as block.
It does. It does.
Is that going to be removed?
No, it's not. That is another discrepancy or mistake on our drawings. That's a
Okay.
good observation. I didn't even catch that myself.
Because
So-
that's we've noticed a lot of these going away. It's
Yes.
not really that big of an issue until people want to do something to make it not look like a window, and
Yes.
then we get things like signs put over the windows
Yes.
or some funky treatment to them.
Yes.
These kinds of signs. Those are window signs. They're technically not permitted.
Yes.
So I would recommend that you address that window in some fashion.
Okay.
Either
What would be best?
Honestly, to remove it. If you're not going to use it,
Okay.
remove it. It makes the building safer.
Yeah.
But it also it removes obsolescent features.
Is that elevation that he's talking about, this one right here?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So what is that?
What is this?
That's the mesh grid that we're
Oh, that's,
proposing that
oh,
we're
okay,
discussing.
gotcha.
I don't know.
That's gonna be
Oh,
right.
it's
Yeah.
this. It's something on the. Yeah, it's there. We are.
And you're not gonna change that facade, that paneling, right, with the corrugated stuff? That's
No.
the ECM, that's just on the parapet, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That would remain as is, and the proposed mesh grid would have just gone on top of it. But because of the lengthier process and probably most likely extra fees, this is something we can get rid of.
So there's the block, and then there's the board and bat,
Yes.
which is just wherever it is. Is there any real rhyme or reason to where it goes to board and bat? Is that just in the back?
It's just on this side. No, I believe it's also on the trash enclosure or towards this back. That I can't even answer that. That's just how the building was built.
Yeah.
What's
you can-
Steve talking about? See, we,
There's board
So
and bat.
this building, this
Yes.
Oh,
siding material
yeah.
is only here. It's
And then it's over
and
there.
it's on
And
this
it's on that.
enclosure.
Gotcha.
I think there's
Yeah.
some portions too on the other elevations as well.
Trying to figure out where.
Eclectic.
I think they were just trying to save some money.
they ran out of brick. And
They
just
ran
went
out
down
of
the
brick.
lower yard.
They had a special on board and bat.
But you know what? That's the majority of this type of building. I believe
Maybe
this
just
is
a
type
ring.
Yeah.
14 or type 25 building for Carlos Jr. No matter what city is in, it has that same material. So this was intentional. This was an intentional
Oh.
design on their architectural drawings, because in the IE in San Diego, every building of this type has that same material, brick, if not stucco, and then it'll have that type of material,
Yeah.
that material with vertical beams and all. So it definitely is an intentional design.
Yeah, I think in general, the best thing you could do for this building is to leave it all monochromatic, the entire building. Forget about the wainscoting.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to put a metal roof, but if you can't do that, then at least get rid of that accent red trim with the, maybe that's a place you could do a little bit darker gray,
Okay.
just as an edge. And then, I don't like, and Cameron, disagree with me if you want, but I don't like the two different stark contrasting finishes and colors for that mechanical screen. I think it diminishes the architecture, such as it is.
Mechanical screen, can you elaborate on which?
That whole thing, which
The
includes
parapet.
Oh,
that,
okay, the
yeah,
parapet. Okay. I
that
see.
upper. I think it would look better if that was all one tone at the base.
No,
The roof is what it is, and then that was all one height, or at least one material.
so no, don't accent it and paint it black.
No, because it has nothing to do with the architecture. It's like you're just sticking a sign up. Kind of like with.
It's just a workaround to get a new sign up there, and they're calling it a parapet.
Well, you look at it, and I get it. It's to highlight that sign,
Yes.
but it doesn't work with the architecture in this case.
Yes.
And that looks a little crowded, that Carl's Jr. up there. Sure would be nice if you could use the corrugated metal, which is not a super expensive finish, and just raise the whole thing up by 16 inches or whatever.
All the way around.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Do we have a
And then use
height?
one solid
We don't have a
color.
height issue here, do we?
No.
They're way under that.
No, but I think you're talking about basically that treatment on the side, because that actually looks pretty
It looks
decent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
The black is the problem.
yeah, this sign just there's too many lines of copy.
Well, the new logo is streamlined. It doesn't have that.
It's
red-
cleaner for sure. But I think if you have a little more height,
Correct.
It's
a little more
cleaner.
height on the mechanical screen, I think it's going to help because it'll give it a little bit of wall area.
Yeah, and then what would be wrong with just halo lighting the darn thing?
And nothing. I believe.
It'll pop out. It looked nice.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, David, halo illumination is allowed?
Yeah, it's
Halo
encouraged,
illumination
yeah.
is allowed?
Especially in this area.
It's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite too. It's my favorite too. So I'm kind of questioning why did we not propose halo? But usually on ACM, on black ACM or corrugated metal, we don't necessarily try to propose halo illumination because for the ACM towers, when they're black, the halo almost
But
you can't
now
hardly
we're
see
talking
it.
about asking you to ditch the black.
Yes, exactly. And in this
That's
case,
why I'm piling on to that suggestion.
yes,
With, okay, if we're gonna not do the black, or maybe raise the whole thing all around, stay with the gray,
yes,
halo light it,
yes.
you're looking sharp now.
Yeah, no, and it would definitely be a possibility. I definitely think that is something that the customer will lean towards if, if this isn't allowed.
I'm
yet.
sure you were thinking you'll be in and out in 15 minutes. and-
No, I knew this was going to take a while.
Okay.
No, and I don't have an issue with that. I love
Yeah,
it.
he's
I
really
love it.
This is fun. This is fun, right?
Exactly.
John, I have a question. So
Yes.
if you guys go halo lighting, would you have to change the color of the letters? Because right now they're white, and I know would it have to go darker?
So that's actually a good question. This is something we probably would push the customer just because there'd be slight contrast. Would that be an issue with black letters on the corrugated metal if we did corrugated metal all the way around? The black letters.
So
I
you
think,
want to
would
make
look
the
better.
Carl's Jr. part of the logo not white but black?
The Carl's Jr. text, black, correct. That
They're
would-
going to allow that?
They do have two variations of it, for black letters on a white background or
Okay.
lighter background, or
Oh.
white letters on a dark background.
Oh.
But it is a perforated material, so during the day it'll be black. At night, when the time clock turns on the lights, the logo will have the illumination. There's very small holes on the black perforated material that will then make it look white. So it
What do
can
you
look
think of that
illuminated.
black on the gray? That could be actually,
You know, like, no, here's what
that
I
could
think
be
we should
modern
do.
looking. That could be nice.
Let me know what you think. So it's all one base color, whole
Yes.
building, no wainscot. Just clean it up,
Yeah.
nice, like
Yeah.
warm gray, whatever. Do a slightly darker fascia trim, at the bottom of the roof there,
Yes.
or where if that's a gutter.
The darker gray.
Yeah, darker gray.
Do
Go
that.
with the weathered galvanized
Uh-huh.
corrugated metal. Get the height so
Yes.
that you can.
When you say
Absolutely.
weathered, it's still looking kind of.
It doesn't look reflective.
not
Because the
reflective.
clear
but
is reflective.
Does it still look silverish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still that grayish color.
Okay. So it's not.
And if you could get us a sample,
Yeah.
the weathered galvanized.
I believe we have submitted a material board,
Okay.
not of the weather galvanized, but of how the current one looks. We submitted a material
I
board.
do have that. It's in my
that
office.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah,
that
we know
shows
what
the
that
material.
galvanized looks like. Clear galvanized is reflective.
Okay.
So I think the weathered, and it would work well with the roof too, the roof that you have now. And that's one height, and then you have your sign at, the same, it's the same.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Then it's all just really clean.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to do some landscaping. I don't know, it's just got, are you proposing any landscaping?
Like this.
In our permits, no, but that
so
is
patinas
definitely.
and actually would show like the rust in there over
It
time.
doesn't show rust,
Okay.
but it gives a kind of a different grayish
Yeah.
tones to it.
Okay.
It looks good, the weather.
As far as the landscaping, that's not included in our permits. However, that's something that I believe the customer is doing on his own is the landscaping. But as far as the signage exterior modifications, we're not proposing any landscaping. No, that wouldn't be in our permit or scope of work.
If they do landscape,
Well,
It may
The
be
city
something
would
that
do that.
would be conditioned as part of this kind of project.
Yes.
Because this is a large enough change that it requires a discretionary permit.
Yes.
And when we get to that level of change, there may be a nexus for updating landscaping as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
May not have to be part of your specific contract,
Yeah.
but the property owner as the
What
holder
I
of this
wanna
permit.
say-
Yes.
I want to introduce this idea that's kind of a tag onto this. And this is why I brought this document.
Yes.
So I'm just going to read to you, if you don't mind.
No, of course.
So you're in what's called the South El Camino Real focus area,
Yes.
right? You're east of the 5. So our goal is that it's going to be create a coastal visitor community serving corridor
Yes.
that welcomes travelers, celebrates the city's surf history. I'm feeling almost conflicted about to say this to you because I know that your franchisee is trying to just like make it a wash with, oh, I get this credit from Carl's Jr., I've got to pay this, I'm about to wash, I don't want to have too much out of pocket.
Yeah.
He's paying you guys.
Yeah.
Given that goal, there's quite a few policies in here. You guys are a gateway, supposed to be attractive,
Yes.
signaling arrival to the area. You're right above Trussell's. And as you know, that parking lot's kind of used by a lot of surfers, and they bring their e-bikes, they
Yeah.
park there, and then the WSL has their World Championships right down there.
Yes.
Attracts a global crowd. And I don't know how much we can ask here because I don't want to get into, oh, well, now we're triggering like new permits and all this, but what can we do to tie that in to your location,
Okay.
right? So traditionally it would be like a mural or it would be some tribute to the surfing culture,
Okay.
right? You've got a huge parking lot. And I don't know if we can, do something without a permit, but you've got a long fence line there.
Yeah.
Huge. It's kind of ugly, to be honest. Trash blows on there, and you pull in there, and honestly, my first impression is, where am I?
Yes.
This is trashy. I'm in Santa Ana, where am I? One would be, please take the notification, please tell your owner we are grateful,
Yes.
but we really would like the trash to always be cleaned up.
Yes.
And is there a way that we could collaborate on some kind of decorative thing on the fence?
Okay.
Without it being a sign, but typically they're imprinted and you can get like surfers. You know how they do it when the WSL comes into town? You see Kelly Slater pop up, or you see you see something. You're not that far down from that other building, whatever that,
Rip curl.
Rip Curl, which is stunning. That building is stunning, right? With the big signs. If you could tie into that with, on that fence, some kind of where you would bolt it on. It's like it's a mesh thing that the wind blows through.
Yeah.
But it's got an imprint on it, and it could be kind of a black, tie in with the black with the black.
Yeah.
But then it would be pictures, or it could be a gray. I don't know, whatever you guys think that's tasteful.
Yes.
But you could put some of our local surfing legends' pictures on it. You could put their names on it. You could put
So where are you talking about? Talking,
all along this back fence right here.
okay, so you see it from the inside.
Yeah, so when you pull in that parking lot or you drive down the street, all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm seeing surfing stuff.
Yes.
There's no fence here, like on El Camino.
No, it's in
It's
the
only
back.
at the back.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
right, way down there.
yeah, staff will most likely need to look in on that because there's a chance
It
that
starts
those,
from here, it goes all the way to Rapper, and this is where, see, right here, see that? That.
that's San Diego
I
County.
think that may be.
Darn it!
No, but
That's on a roll.
there's this fence that David, you just had it. That fence, that may belong to the state parks. I'm
Okay.
not sure exactly who's the owner of that.
Gotcha.
Staff can look into that, but I think you're bringing up a great idea
Yeah.
of additional design features to tie into the surf zone.
Fence.
Okay. That was so close.
Maybe the trash enclosure.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
there's,
trying to,
there is that
it's kind
trash
of art in
enclosure.
public places type of idea.
I like the
There's
direction.
a trash enclosure here.
Yeah, maybe you
You
could
do
do something on
something
a
there.
trash enclosure. Yeah, just paint a mural on there. We need something that when people come in, they go, that's cool. I'm in San Clemente.
Yeah.
I'm at surfing mecca of the world.
Yes.
That's what we want to project here. And you know what it's going to do? It's going to trigger more business because the surfers are going to be drawn to it.
Yes.
The community's going to be drawn to it, and it's not going to look trashy. It's going to look cool.
Yes.
And you're not going to just look like another run-of-the-mill stamped out Carl's Jr. You're going to look like, this is custom for San Clemente.
Yeah.
I'm a fit.
Yeah. I do agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Is that monument or that pole sign, that's gonna just stay the way it is?
It's being refaced to their new standard. So
It
it is going to remain nearly the same, but the new Happy Star logo, the new Carl's Jr. text, and it's going to get rid of the curved charcoal burgers text.
Okay, so there's a lot of landscape areas, this whole area. This is, I don't know if that's right away, no, it's probably on the property, but it's just the typical hedge with the lawn. Sure would be nice to have some beachy landscape, like it's some stuff that you see on the beach trip, So it feels like an extension of that. I don't know what this tree is.
What would that look like, Steve? Because you're not talking about DG, or are you talking, or succulents, are you? What are you talking about?
I mean, some vertical spiky
Okay.
planting. I'm not gonna, but I think we'd like to review, if we could, the landscape that they're proposing out there.
Yeah.
Because, I don't think you need to plant a bunch of big stuff, but it would be nice, to get rid of a lot of, this is all this rapholepsis hedges and lawns and stuff, which they're not drought tolerant at all. But you have a scene here where if this, get rid of that red, this is a nice patina color up here, that's all one sort of banded color, and then you have some vertical things going on in the landscape. This could be a nice view coming north.
Yeah.
And even this is going to be an improvement, getting the new logo on there. So, now it's becoming a nice
It's getting cleaned up.
Okay, is that helpful?
It is. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. It definitely is.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Because again, just on the policy, and you
Yes.
can pull this off our website,
Yeah.
read it to your owner.
Yes.
Acknowledge and promote the South El Camino Real eclectic surfing heritage by encouraging a wide range of architectural materials that reference surf culture, right?
Yeah.
So anything that, and maybe he wants to consider putting something inside the restaurant as well. Surfboards on the wall, just something that ties it in. And so when you walk in, it feels welcoming and you feel like you're in something, San Clemente, right?
Yeah.
And you're literally steps away from where the world's best surfers come once a year.
Got it.
And actually some of them train there year round,
Got it.
right? So,
Yeah, Toledo, he moved to
Yeah.
San Clemente.
yeah. There's like 2 or 3 that are on the WSL tour that are always in the top that live here.
Yeah.
So, and go down there all the time. And
So
go
do
to
a lot
see
of
the
people
restaurant.
still go in to eat, or is it mostly?
This
Right.
business specifically, I'm not sure, but Carl's Jr. in total, no. And their indoor dining has cut drastically, and they're more focused on drive-through and or third-party delivery.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of parking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ton of parking.
Yeah.
which is kind of a waste, because it's usually unused.
Yeah. Exactly.
Except by surfers maybe that are parking.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we could think of something to do that for.
Can I ask for clarification again on the LED trim band? What was the direction on that?
We don't,
LED trim band?
There's 2 of them. Which one do you mean? The top or the?
Both.
well, we
Yeah.
don't see the need for the top.
Yeah. get
You know,
rid of it.
especially if it's a accent color or contrasting color.
Mhm.
And just do the halo light on the sign so it pops. But I see the value of it underneath the eave.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's a good question,
Yeah.
David. At the top there, we would like, you're gonna have it capped, but just paint it the same color as the corrugated metal, the gray, and then get rid of the light that rims the whole thing.
Got it. Okay.
But definitely keep it under the
Eve light.
eve light because it shows the building and you
Yeah.
want that as a safety thing
Yes.
also.
Yes, correct. The current balances, the red valance along
Yeah.
the entire has fluorescent.
Yeah, getting
lights.
getting rid of that and
Yeah.
the fluorescent
Yeah.
and replacing it with the recessed.
Yes, correct.
So it's more of a bounce light.
Yes.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Definitely.
And last thing you said,
Oh, yeah.
keep the
that-
cap color the same as a parapet wall. Right.
And then this is an internally lit can, right?
Internal, yes, correct.
And you're gonna replace it with such? Or
We're
you're-
going to, we're proposing an LED retrofit, so getting rid of all fluorescent lighting and replacing with LEDs, correct?
Inside,
Inside, yes.
but it's still a can, like,
Yeah, a cabinet,
It's
yes.
a box.
yeah, it's a cabinet.
Yes.
A canister.
Which is fine, because the whole
Yeah.
thing is a sign, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it'll have so that one will have because we're talking about
What's that gonna
doing,
look like?
we're talking about doing black letters
We should have.
instead of the white on the weathered galvanized.
Because I wonder if it should match.
We do have on page 11 what we're proposing, which is just a new.
I
copy.
actually moved that from their packet just to stay focused.
Oh,
We're
that's-
not, yeah, we're
Okay,
not.
okay,
Yeah, I
Well,
don't have
now-
that.
okay.
That replacement is.
It's the same thing it made.
It requires an administrative sign permit because it's only a change of copy.
Right.
However, because you're going through a discretionary process,
Oh, they're just taking
the
off
recommendation would be, have we issued a permit for that yet?
Not yet.
All right.
No.
My recommendation would be that if the decision-making body has any desire to put conditions of approval to tie in that pole sign with any work on the building,
Got it.
that maybe we just keep it included, note that it's in the staff level review, but if there's an opportunity to do any kind of architectural coordination between the two, then it's available.
So, David, looks like we're adopting basically your recommendation 2 and 3, right? Remove or reduce the amount of LED trim bands, so we're saying, yeah, remove it around the top, keep it on the bottom. We're removing the mesh grid. I think where we're trying to play ball with them is not force them to change out the roof.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna take back some kind of tie into the surf culture and see whatever you guys
Yes.
can create and.
I think the customer would definitely be in full support of adding to the surf culture kind of graphics and include that. I don't see that being an issue. So, I'll go ahead and talk to the customer regarding all these changes, what he might propose. Maybe he has artwork already. Maybe he wants us to come up with artwork. So we'll go ahead and.
Let me ask you this, Adam. Do you guys, that Rip Curl building, they have framed pictures mounted on the wall.
Yes.
So if they couldn't come up with anything, would that constitute a sign? Or would you permit it if they put framed pictures of this?
It would require a mural permit.
Okay.
Those are,
You're not talking about up on the campus.
Yeah. You don't like that idea? Mess up your design?
there.
Yeah.
I think there are a number of places on the property where some additional artwork could go.
Okay.
But the mural permit is actually relatively straightforward.
Okay, so they could put it on the front, like they could bolt it on here. We're thinking like this. If they didn't have any other ideas.
Especially because that'll be more of a canvas than without all the clutter. It's
Yeah.
not one wall, right?
Yeah, that's going to be more than one wall. So my recommendation would be for the applicant to talk to the property owner, see what additional surf
Or
zone
what they could do,
enhancements
Adam,
could be
would cool
made.
if They just line is like
And then-
the windows on the windows. And it wouldn't be, the kind that lets light through and you can see through it, but from the outside, you just see cool surfing like all around the edge against the gray, and you can incorporate some blues in there with the ocean and stuff. That would
like
look nice.
like Rip Curl has on their windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe Rip Curl went through a discretionary process for those murals.
Okay.
We've since cleaned up the mural section of the code. But what we're talking about here, I don't know that the mural permit's really going to be the best avenue for this. My recommendation would be to talk to the property owners, see what additional architectural enhancements could be incorporated,
Yeah.
and then staff has. I want to talk to David about if there's anything else about this that's going to change the level of discretionary review from the zoning administrator or the planning commissioner. If it's and either way, my recommendation would be based on the number of comments received here that staff would recommend that you come back to the design review subcommittee just to get I'll say more of a holistic blessing on the project before it goes to whatever the discretionary review is.
Yes.
Because that could help keep it on the ZA if we go, this is everything, and could help keep it to the ZA maybe.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing when we go to the ZA and we have, well, a description of the last time I went to the design review subcommittee was just all of these recommended changes, but have not with the DRC actually having reviewed those changes as in a proposed thing. And the other thing is, I think it's going to be important for this property to provide a potentially photometric, but since we're removing some of the LEDs around the top, I'm not actually that concerned about it now, but images of what the signs and the property will look like at night.
Okay.
Because I think that's really going to be a big,
Okay.
kind of a big issue.
Yeah, photo sims.
Yeah, and anything, if you have a halo lit, an example of a halo lit sign on corrugated metal that you can provide images of.
Definitely, we have completed
that would be-
remodels with those, so I can definitely pull photos of completed jobs and include those.
Yeah, examples of existing situations that are similar are always easier to. They describe more than like an artistic rendering of
correct,
the
of
same
course.
thing.
Yeah, if there's a way you could do those windows, that might be the quickest, easiest thing, and then it would really pop, look nice.
Okay.
Have we given you enough to think about? Or
Yeah.
would you like to talk some more?
Let's go ahead. What else can we talk? What else can we touch on? No, definitely. This is enough direction to bring to the customer's attention and come up with a plan to see how we can go ahead and incorporate and get rid of, based on what we talked about. So definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
thank you
Appreciate
very
your
much.
time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on, we have nothing else. That's it. We got no new business.
Gentlemen, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you.
meeting you.
Thank you. Likewise.
No old business?
We've
Any
received
oral?
no communications from the public.
Nothing? Okay. So I move that we adjourn to the next regular meeting of the Design Review Subcommittee on May 24th, 3 p.m. in this room, the community room.
I will second that.
Okay. Adjourn.